taking trips, cause I never tripped on what they said. If you speaking from your heart, naysayers gon' aim for your head.
Hello guys, it's me Extra here, and today we're going to be taking a look at a jungle slash offlane Feng Mao deck. And the two affinities are growth and auto. And without anything further to do, let's jump right into it. We got Coin Master. Basic card, gives a boost to your economy early on in the game, especially if you're going offlane. And you're going to grab this card if you're going jungle or offlane, either way. So your first card, no matter which role you're taking on. And then we have the second card, Flame Obsession. Another interesting card, gives you deals basic damage to true damage to neutral and enemy minions, and you just get more damage increases by 150 with each use. Another interesting thing I learned about this card recently, I didn't know about this before. So the thing right here, right, the cultivate, the thing right there, the cultivate, gold cost is reduced by 500 with each point purchased. What that means is each time you purchase a attribute point, the gold cost for this card is reduced by 500. So essentially what it means is that after you purchase 4 attribute points, the card becomes free. So you don't actually need to waste any money on it. You can just purchase attribute points and grab the card. And let's so back to what I was saying. Really cool card. Just generally you're gonna grab this around early game, I guess. Early game around 7 minutes. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna keep on using it again and again on your jungle minions or enemy minions. And once you're high level, the damage is high enough, what you're gonna do is start going into the enemy jungle and stealing their green buff. Don't kill the other 2 small minions, just kill the big green minion, because if you kill the other minions, the green buff's gonna respawn. You don't want that to happen. So just kill the green dude, the big dude, and just come back. You can one-shot him if your damage is high enough. Another really cool thing, essentially denying them the green buff to the jungler or anyone in the team. And another thing is you can steal the or prime. Obviously, if you have high enough damage, you can just blink right into, if your enemy team's doing it, you can just blink right into it and just steal the or prime from them. Another really cool thing you can do with it. And then moving on, we have the growth totem. Essentially the same thing with this card, the cultivate. It's a little different. After purchasing 9 attribute points, you're gonna grab the you're gonna have this card for free. So you need to wait a little bit more to grab this card instead of that. And generally, if you're farming normally, you're gonna grab this card around 10 minutes or 11-minute mark. So at that mark, that is when I grab it. You can do it faster, but that's essentially the main, like the normal time you're gonna grab it at 10-minute or 11-minute mark. Don't hesitate, grab it as soon as possible. And it's just gonna give you free power and max health every minute, and it has no effect. You're gonna grab this around mid game till late game, and you're gonna have this card pretty late in the game, and you're gonna only swap it out very late, like 30-minute or 35-minute mark with the Godmother Vigilant. And moving on, we have the Trapper. Gives you power and attack speed and has slowing strikes. Your basic attacks reduce the enemy's movement speed for 10 for 5 seconds. Stacks up to 10 times, and then max it roots the target. And the thing you might be wondering is, why do we have to grab this on Feng Mao? Doesn't he already have hamstring, which slows the attacks, which slows the enemy's movement speed? The answer is yes, but it's just better to have it. Generally, even if you hamstring, if the enemy has some sort of blink or let me say some sort of blink or invis card, if they're going if they're going death, if they have invis stealth, then you really can't do anything with the hamstring. It's just gonna slow him. But essentially what you can do with this card is you can root him, which can allow your casters to, well, cast your abilities and kill. Root is just much better than hamstring, this card in general. So you're gonna grab this card around mid game, late mid game, So another thing, really good card, and by that time the enemy team's gonna have multiple escaping cards or cards that can let them get away. So it's just a really good card late game, mid to late game. And then you have the next card, the Armored Footman. 20% chance to reduce basic damage taken by 50. Basic card, really good if you're going off lane, because the enemy safe laners are gonna try and harass you. Really good card. You can essentially block most of their damage with this. And then you have Poised Aggressor, gain 15 basic damage for 4 seconds after entering combat. Really good if you're ganking a lot. If you're jungling, you can start ganking the off lane. Really good, you get basic damage when you enter combat. So another really good card early on in the game. And then you have the one of the late 3 game cards. No, late game 3 cards, whatever you want to call them. You have the Godmother Vigilant, gives you a lot of health. Really essential if you're a really essential late game, because generally late game Feng Mao becomes pretty squishy, so you're gonna need this card a lot late game, because remember, this is actually a bruiser deck. Feng Mao is a fighter, not a ADC, so he needs some tanking capabilities to tank the enemy damage, because he doesn't do the most damage, and he's a bruiser, not a ADC. Just remember that. And even if you're gonna make any decks other than this, just remember, when you have heroes like Chimera or Feng Mao, they're not brooders, they're bruisers, not ADCs. So always build a little bit of health in them so they can tank the enemy's damage and not die straight away. And then you have the last card in the deck, the Knight of Ashore. It gives you power, attack speed, and basic armor. It just gives you a lot of attack damage, basic damage. Your main attack card in the deck gives you 25 basic damage straight away, and then it gives you 1.5 damage per attribute point purchased. So in total you're gonna have around 60 to 70 damage after maxing out agility tree. You're gonna have around 70 to 60 bonus damage from this card. Really good card, plus it gives you bonus attack speed and power. Really good card, I'm gonna say. And pretty much that's gonna be it. Yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it. Those are all the cards right there. And moving on, we have the gems. You're gonna have most of the gems in the agility tree and a little bit on the vitality tree. And what you have, the first gem you're gonna have is the tier 7 slot 7 gem. Deal 2% more basic damage to heroes for every 10% of their enemies heroes missing health. Questionable gem, but still it deals the most damage, and I would recommend getting it, especially early on in the game, because early on Feng Mao really shines. Early to mid he really shines. Late game he like cools off a little bit, but mid to early is your prime time as Feng Mao, because that's when you have most of your, because that's when he shines, because generally that's when he has all of his abilities and he does his most damage, I guess, because the casters die out, they start fading away, because obviously their casters are best early game, and mid game they start like, you know, losing steam, and the ADCs still haven't farmed up fully yet. So generally this is the best time to play Feng Mao, early to mid. And then you have the slot 13 card, the mana gen. You gain mana when you land a basic attack. Really good on Feng Mao, because his attack speed is very, very high, especially late game, like around 3 to 4 attacks per second. Another really awesome thing with Feng Mao. That's why I really chose the Trapper card, because his attack speed is really high and it really shines. It's a really good card of Feng Mao. And then you have the Duelist. Take 20% less damage from any hero you hit with basic attack for the next 3 seconds. He's a melee hero, so this is actually really important for him. If it was ranged, it doesn't really matter, and he's a fighter, so again I'm saying the thing, He's a bruiser, so he's gonna be tanking damage, and this is actually a really good card for him. Not card, gem for him. And then you have the Bounty Stalker. Basic attack attacks grant 2 attack speed and 1.5 power for 6 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. And another really good card, this card actually goes hand in hand with the Trapper card, because the more you attack, the faster you are gonna attack, and the faster you attack, the slower the enemy is gonna be. So really good card, goes hand in hand with the Trapper card. And then you have the Quick Exit, slot 1 card. Really basic card, gives you movement speed when leaving base. I said this in the last video. If you haven't checked the last video out, really good video, really cool video. 5k Rampage deck. Generally what I said in that video was the fact that this Quick Exit gem is an essential gem, and you should grab it pretty much on any deck, no matter which role you're playing, ADC, tank, or jungler. This is a very good gem, and you should grab it from anyone or anybody. And then you have the damage reduction. Again, emphasis on the fact that he's a bruiser fighter, not an ADC, so he's gonna be taking a lot of damage, and reducing the amount of basic damage you take by 10% is really good for him. And pretty much those are gonna be the 6 gems right there, 6 gems, and those are gonna be all the cards right there. Actually, one card I didn't go over is a pretty basic card, Sentry. Pretty basic. You have Shadow Wards. Would recommend it if you don't have a support in your team and nobody's warding mid. But if you have a support in your team, this actually could be. You don't really have to grab this card if you have a support in your team, but you could. And pretty much those are gonna be all the cards right there. The Growth Totem, all those cards, and those are gonna be the gems. And again, if you enjoyed this video, like it, subscribe, share if you like the video. And again, it's been me, Wix. Have a good day, have a nice day. Over and out.